Nice to have you with us again today. Today we're talking about creatine. Have you ever heard of it? So, is creatine actually good or is it bad? Exactly, that's what we're going to take a closer look at. For a long time, this protein molecule was viewed critically. But what is the current state of things now? So, science is still having a hard time taking an evidence-based stance on creatine, but the trend is clear and it's a positive one. So, the fact that creatine can really have a positive effect doesn't surprise me because creatine is extremely important and now it gets really exciting, for the heart, for the muscles. Of course, that's been known for a long time, but the heart is obviously also a muscle, and it's also important for the brain. It is scientifically proven, so also evidence-based, that bone density benefits from creatine, and therefore, of course, it can also help prevent osteoporosis. Or, if it is already present, it may possibly be improved again through supplementation. To take a closer look at this again, what does creatine actually do? Creatine plays an absolutely central role in energy metabolism, specifically in generating the body's own energy. By the way, creatine is a natural substance and is made up of 3 amino acids, because several amino acids are the basic requirement for producing a protein molecule. That's exactly what happens with 3 amino acids, and specifically with adults. We carry about 120 to 150 grams of this creatine in our bodies, depending on how much we weigh. And since we also use up this protein molecule every day, in the range of about 1 to 2 grams per day, we naturally have to produce creatine ourselves as well. We can do that too. This substance is actually formed from these 3 amino acids in the liver, the kidneys, and the pancreas. But we can actually also absorb creatine through our diet. However, the main sources of creatine in our diet are found in animal-based foods. But the necessary amino acids are also found in plant-based protein sources, especially in legumes, but also in nuts and whole grains. Especially in the area of brain performance, many positive effects of sufficient creatine can be observed. By the way, our brain, which only weighs about 1,400 or 1,500 grams, uses up 20% of our total body energy because of its high performance. It's crazy, isn't it? So much energy for so little. But that's why, since creatine has something to do with energy performance, it's really important that we have enough of it. Let's take a closer look at that now. So getting enough of it has an effect. And here I'm talking about a bit more than what we can produce ourselves. Namely, about 3 grams. So 1 to 2 grams from our own production and 1 to 2 grams from supplementation. And it's best to combine that with coenzyme Q10 per day, because coenzyme Q10 is also important for this. Energy production is vital for our bodies. And unfortunately, it's also often reduced in adulthood. That's why I would take them together. And that's what happens. This leads to a better stress tolerance, since people are very stressed right now, largely because of our typical lifestyle. But it also leads to improved brain and memory performance, and also stabilizes the mood. I think we could all use that right now. I feel like it's a really tough time. And now comes this February, January, this time when everything is a bit gloomy anyway. So that's what we need it for too. And at the same time, it increases both our mental and physical performance. So creatine is pretty amazing, isn't it, with everything it can do. By the way, creatine is well known among athletes because creatine has been used as a supplement for many, many years to build muscle and, of course, to improve explosive strength and endurance. That's also interesting because if you do a lot of intense, dirty work and maybe even some extreme sports, it's really good to be able to recover relatively quickly. And that's exactly what creatine is responsible for, namely for faster recovery after sports activities, in other words, for regeneration. But by now, it's also known that our heart benefits from it as well. Because what is our heart? I said it right at the beginning. It's also a muscle, especially the aging heart. So when people do less due to increasing lack of exercise and also poor nutrition, of course, it also gets less energy. And then it's clearly much more susceptible to heart failure. And heart failure, the so-called cardiac insufficiency, is a very common diagnosis in older or elderly people. So the heart can no longer work enough. But of course, if we don't have enough energy, we can't work enough either. That's just how it is. And that's why the recommendation is increasingly moving towards taking additional creatine. And to strengthen the heart muscle, especially at an older age, in order to provide this muscle with enough energy. By the way, when it comes to side effects, even when higher doses are administered, no serious ones have been observed. Just that they still say you should be careful if there is a chronic kidney condition. But I'm also curious to see how long it will take before studies come to different conclusions there as well. So you see, creatine, the substance responsible for more energy, just give it a try in small doses. It's important to take it over a long period of time because that's when your body can really benefit from it. So in any case, I think it's definitely worth a try. And of course, it's definitely a good idea to discuss it with your doctor or your therapist beforehand. What about you? Have you ever used creatine before? Or when you went to the gym, was it maybe offered to you right away? Just to improve your performance? So write it down below. That would be really great. It's super interesting. I think it's a really, really great topic, and we're definitely going to hear more about it in the near future because research is continuing there as well, and I think that's great. Thank you so much for watching today, and thank you if you subscribe to the channel. Of course, it would be awesome if you share the video as well, and the thumbs up, I always think that's fantastic. And if you want to see more of my videos, you can do that here. See you next time. Bye.